record high 50% of Americans rate U.S. moral values as poor. Okay? So this kind of goes to where you were going and where I was going. Watch this. 50% say moral values is poor. 37% say only fair. 78% think moral values in the U.S. are getting worse. Consideration of others cited as the top problem with state moral values. We've been talking about this on the podcast for the longest time. We no longer talk about morals and values. Whether you're a Christian or a Catholic or a Jehovah or Seventh-day or LDS, whatever it is, the basic foundation of Judaism, the basic foundation of any of these religions is what? Forgiveness, is kindness, don't judge, steal,
kill,
all of this stuff
parents.
is the basic foundation of these morals and values, right? If we don't teach these basic morals and values, none of us will forgive. None of us will talk about redemption. None of us will believe in that. I think this is the problem America has today. When 9/11 happened, nobody cared about your skin color. We all became Americans. When COVID happens, everybody hated the orange man, and everybody became enemies because it was your political party before your country. This validates every point that we talk about on this on this podcast here. Schools. I can't tell you how many parents I'm talking about where we had one of our friends that we were just talking about in public school, what happened to their kid. They're like, I can't send my kid back to this public school.
Right.
I'm not comfortable. Why? Do you know what's the number one reason why they can't send their kids back to that public school? Morals and values. Yeah. Do you know why people are doing homeschooling? Morals and values. Do you know why people are sending their kids to private schools? Morals and values. Do you know why church attendance on some churches is at a record-breaking high right now where people coming back? Because people are starting to realize if they're not going to give it to me at my school, I'm going to put it on morals and values. Do you know why the football coach that is known as raising great men, that strong values and principles, do you know why some parents are getting out of his way or her way to challenge the kids to become better human beings? Because he or she is setting the tone with the kids of injecting the right morals and values. Do you know why certain companies with CEOs and executives are starting to recruit talent that are coming to them saying, listen, I'm here because of morals and values? This topic right here, no one is talking about because this is boring. Nothing about this is exciting. Nothing about this gets people to say, oh, yeah, let's go. This is going to go viral. Let's talk about this on CNN or Fox. Let's talk about this. Nobody wants to hear this because this is a boring but necessary topic. All of us we don't like it, but all of us internally, when we look back and we think about a leader or a coach that pissed us off the most or a relative, it was typically a person that expected more from us. And we were like, man, I can never get to that level. But that's the person you remember. You remember the worst, and you remember the person that pissed you off because they expected more from you. It was kind of like, I can never reach this guy's level. Totally get it. But you know what? At 42, you're sitting there saying, hey, listen, you know what I mean, Sinclair, kind of love you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you. I am who I am because you challenge. You go back to that, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, what do you think about this, Jedediah?
Well, one of the things that I think broke this for a lot of us was technology. I think social media and hiding behind phones and not having eye contact and not having real interpersonal relationships, I think it broke. People hide behind. If you look at social media, people say things on Twitter they would never say to you. They would never say to your face. So I think the rise of all of this technology and putting distance between people and lack of community, one of the reasons I think that 9/11 and COVID were different, because after COVID, everybody was isolated. They were all separated. You became the enemy. You over there.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in my house and I'm staying home and you're not staying home. You're the enemy. Oh, I got a vaccine and you didn't get a vaccine. You're the enemy. If people where that didn't happen was in places like Florida where people were out and about and they were talking to each other and you realized you had a shared humanity. You talked to somebody and you said, oh, that's not my enemy. That's just somebody that made a different life decision than I did. So that's the difference. I think technology is number one, and I think big media is the other problem. Yeah. Big media, I always say, division is a business model in big media, and I think they thrive. They thrive off of screaming and yelling. Oh, let's put two people on a split screen and have them yell at each other. Yep. But we're not going to solve anything. We're just gonna present this view that they can't stand each other, and that trickles out. So I think that's the part about how we don't see each other as people anymore, which is why when we sat here with Nikki Fried and we had a discussion, people were like, where is this? Well, it's not happening because people don't do this anymore because cable news doesn't thrive on it and social media doesn't thrive on it. So you have to find and make those spaces. That's number one. I think the morals are a little bit. When you dig deep into schools and what's going on, that's going to become a different conversation about woke ideology and all that. But the very fabric of like, I'm a human, you're a human, we can disagree. I respect you, you respect me. Let's hash it out. That is increasingly vanishing, and you have to think: are our kids who only know a world where all these phones are out and social media, are they going to grow up able to have these conversations, or are they going to have lost that completely, skipped that step? Because they don't have a basis of comparison. We had how many years in the world before? I didn't have a cell phone until I was 19. I had a normal, functional childhood. These kids in an iPad and a cell phone.
Yeah.
We did on the show this week virtual this and virtual that and metaverse. Screw the metaverse. Your kid wants to play, send him outside.
Send him in the universe.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly.
Like forget the metaverse, send them in the
Send
universe.
him in the universe. Put that on a shirt.
By the way, I'm gonna do
rapper.
something right now that
Wow.
I
Jack Harlow, be careful. He's
What's
coming.
up?
Adam Sauce.
Here's what I'm gonna do to Jedediah right now.
Slow clap.
Because
I'll
everything
take it.
you just said, I literally wrote down as like a talking point that I wanted to discuss. I swear to God, social media.
saw your notes.
Okay, community. I'm like,
I
bingo,
cheated. I
bingo,
copied.
bingo. You copied my notes. Why can't we get back to when we're copying each other's notes in person
There you
again?
go.
Like we all did in high school. We all cheated. But, there was a famous quote by JFK, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Right.
We've lost that sentiment of community and country, and the other side is the enemy. I'll never forget, you talked about social media. I'll never forget when I started my show, Sales Talks Money, I went around, I was interviewing all types of people. And one of the most lasting conversations I had was out in LA at Venice Beach, kind of right where we were a couple weeks ago. And it was like this kind of like cholo gangster type of guy, Mexican guy. And I'm like, so what's going on in America with the money? He's like, the problem is everyone's so selfish, and a selfie is all about yourself. I was like, oh, damn.
Deep.
And I was like, oh, like a selfie is you're more concerned with yourself. That I was like, oh, okay, go ahead, buddy. He was like, yeah, selfies are ruining the country.
Values.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.